In this video, we will be looking at a while loop counter example problem. The subgoals for evaluating a loop are 1. Diagram which statements go together. 2. Determine the start condition. 3. Determine the termination condition. 4. Trace the loop. For every iteration of the loop, write down the values. We are given the following code and asked, what is the output? For subgoal 1, we want to diagram which statements go together. To begin, we want to diagram which statements of the loop go together. Loops without curly braces have a default of only one statement. We want to make sure we are looking at only the statements that go with the loop. In this case, these are the statements that go with the while loop. For subgoal 2, we need to determine the start condition. In this case, the start condition are the two variables initialized before the start of the loop. Counter and total both start at 0. For subgoal 3, we need to determine the termination condition. In this case, the loop will continue as long as counter is less than 50. The opposite of less than 50 means that whenever counter is greater than or equal to 50, the loop will terminate. For subgoal 4, we trace the loop. In this case, we want to trace the values for counter and total. We make a list for what the values of counter will be. We can see that it starts at 0, and in the last statement of the loop, it is incremented by 1. Every time we go through the loop, it determines whether counter is evenly divisible by 5. Counter mod 5 is equal to 0. If it is, then the value in counter is added to the value in total. 0 is evenly divisible by 5. 0 mod 5 is equal to 0. So, we add 0 to the total and still have 0. 1, 2, 3, and 4 are not divisible by 5. 5 is divisible by 5. So we add the value 5 to total, and total becomes 5. 6, 7, 8, and 9 are not divisible by 5, so the total remains 5. 10 is divisible by 5, so we add the value 10 to the value of total, and now total becomes 15. Now we can start to see the pattern. Counter increments by 1, but only when it is evenly divisible by 5 is the value added to total. When counter reaches 15, we add 15 to the total, and total becomes 30. When counter reaches 20, we add 20 to the total, and total becomes 50. When counter reaches 25, we add 25 to the total, and total becomes 75, and so on. When counter reaches 45, we add 45 to the total, which brings us to 225. We determine the termination condition during subgoal 3, so we already know that when counter reaches 50, we exit the loop. So the output is 225.